What does Laura Ingraham, Ben Shapiro, and Tucker Carlson all have in common? They identify problems but do not provide solutions. We at Special Forces of Liberty only provide legislative solutions that work. Many conservatives and Christians in the church want to fight back but don't know how. We provide a call to action, legislative weapons that are supported by constitutional and Supreme Court authority, and specific instructions of how to fight back and win. But what we're lacking is laborers to present the bills to the members of the House and Senate and to lightly apply the continuing pressure needed to see to it that the bills make it through the system and become law. The lawmakers need to see and feel that locals want the bills to become law in their state. This video provides a step-by-step guide as to how to lobby bills written by Special Forces of Liberty to the state legislature. The bills were written out of multi-state federal litigation and are backed by controlling Supreme Court precedent and federal and state constitutional authority. The current bills are titled the Human Trafficking and Child Exploitation Prevention Act, the Stop Social Media Censorship Act, the Life Appropriation Act, the Establishment Act, and the Stop Guilt by Accusation Act. But every year we'll be adding additional bills. Here is a summary of the process as to how a bill idea becomes the law in the state. First, the proposed bill language needs to get into the hands of the members of the House and the Senate. Second, at least one member of the House and Senate has to agree to prime sponsor the bill. The proposed language is then sent down to bill drafting, where it is drafted, introduced, assigned a bill number, and assigned to a committee. Then the chairman of that committee sets a hearing date, where members of the public can come testify for or against the bill. At the hearing, if the bill passes out of committee, it then goes to the floor for a vote. The bills must pass out of the committee in the House and the Senate, and pass the floor vote in both the House and the Senate. If that occurs, the bill will go to the governor's desk to be signed or vetoed. If the governor signs it, it becomes law. If it's a bill like ours that's backed by constitutional sound authority, then it would survive any subsequent challenge in the state or federal courts. This is the general process. Here are the 7 phases of lobbying bills written by Special Forces of Liberty. First phase is the educate yourself phase. Step 1 is to watch the videos that explain the bills individually, found near the top of the website at specialforcesofliberty.com. The videos are titled Understanding the Human Trafficking and Child Exploitation Prevention Act, Understanding the Stop Social Media Censorship Act, Understanding the Life Appropriation Act, Understanding the Establishment Act, and Understanding the Guilt by Accusation Act. Every year we'll be adding more videos for new bills. The second step is to scroll down the website where your state is listed, under the tab Legislation by State, and download the proposed bill language and the talking points for your state and read through the documents the best you can. You don't need to be a subject matter expert on the bills. You just need to know that the Human Trafficking and Child Exploitation Prevention Act will crush the demand for human trafficking and protect children. The Stop Social Media Censorship Act will stop wrongful censorship of political and religious speech in a way that cannot be shut down by Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. The Life Appropriation Act will forever prohibit the government from appropriating public funds to convenience abortion providers. The Establishment Act will stop the government from creating and enforcing pro-LGBTQ policies by weaponizing the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment. And the Stop Guilt by Accusation Act will promote truth and reporting and impose some restraint on the fake news media. Also, importantly, one of the documents under your state's heading is a written step-by-step guide as to how to lobby the bill specifically in your state, which serves as a sort of checklist and guide to make it easier to lobby. The second phase is to form a team and spread the mission phase. In this phase, consider forming a team with other members of your church to lobby the measures. You could form a small group around the bills or a bill of particular interest, or you could form a team with just one other person, or even go it alone. There is power in numbers, but there's nothing wrong with going it alone. There's nothing wrong with making mistakes along the way in lobbying. We have a saying that once you commit to lobbying the bills, the only thing you can do wrong is to do nothing. Also in this phase, because activity breeds activity, we encourage you to share this calling with other individuals in the church online. We're asking you to be a fire starter. The third phase is the share from afar phase. This is an optional phase where you're asked to make phone calls and or send emails to members of the House and of the Senate, asking them to draft, introduce, and enact the bills. If there's already a prime sponsor for a bill, you'll be asking other members to pledge to support or co-sponsor the bill. In the document that provides a step-by-step guide as to how to lobby the bills in your state, there are links to the legislative website where you can access the emails and phone numbers to the members of the House and the Senate. There are pre-written email templates that you can copy and paste and send in the step-by-step guide, or you can write a customized email yourself. The email should contain links to the proposed bill language, links to the talking points, and a link to the short video that explains the bill, plus your name, address, and cell phone. Also, when sending emails, it's better to send individual emails to the members and not to send out email blasts. Generally, you can send the Human Trafficking Child Exploitation Prevention Act, the Stop Social Media Censorship Act, and the Stop Guilt by Accusation Act to both Democrats and Republicans, because those bills are bipartisan. However, typically you want to send the Establishment Act and the Life Appropriation Act only to Republicans. If you get a response back from a member and don't know how to respond, feel free to forward the email to us at Special Forces of Liberty, and we'll send you back a proposed reply. The fourth phase is by far the most important. It's called the show up in person phase. This is where you and or your team members print at least one copy of the bills for the House and Senate members and physically show up at the state capitol building to distribute them to the members, putting boots on the ground. It's best if you can personally hand the bills to the members and simply tell them that you want these bills to become law in your state. If they're not in their office, it's okay to leave the bills with a staff member. Just inform the staff member that you would like their boss to introduce and enact these measures. Make sure you leave your phone number and your email address. Sometimes it helps if you go with a group to the State House that you wear matching t-shirts, perhaps with a Christian theme. Or if you want to help us out, you can buy Special Forces of Liberty t-shirts under the Donate/Store tab on the website. If you prefer, you could attempt attempt to schedule meetings with the members in advance, but the most important thing is to no matter what show up and to physically hand the proposed bills to the member or their office. The fifth phase is press the chairman phase. After a bill is introduced and given a bill number, it is assigned to a committee. It is sometimes at the discretion of the chairman of the committee whether to schedule a bill for a hearing or not. Therefore, it can be helpful if you call or email the chairman's office to lean on the chairman to schedule a hearing. There is a saying, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. The sixth phase is the hearing phase. Your presence alone at the hearing will be important, but if you can, sign up to testify. Even if your entire testimony is that you're there to support the bill. Or you can testify more in depth if you would like. But it is important that we have more people there to testify in favor of the bill compared to those who are there to testify against it. There's a hearing section on the website where you can watch videos of expert testimony so you can see what a hearing looks like. What you will see at the hearing is those who oppose the bill do so for reasons that are selfish and even evil. The seventh phase is the continuous follow-up phase. After a bill passes out of committee, it's helpful to maintain an ongoing presence, to cultivate light pressure, to let the members know that you have eyes on and that you're watching the process. It helps keep them accountable. Your paramount objective is to see that the bills pass into law by applying subtle pressure and in engaging in sensible follow-up. By playing a role to turn Special Forces of Liberty bills into law, you will strengthen families, promote the truth, increase freedom, restore the rule of law, and unleash human flourishing in a substantive way. The mobilized local church is the hope of the world, and the greatest problem with the world is the human heart. And the second greatest problem is our refusal to admit that. And while we cannot legislate away the realities of the human heart, we can stop atheistic secular humanists from legislating immorality, and we can get our laws to parallel Christian principles while pointing back to the greater truth of the gospel and making our world a better place. Thank you for listening to this call to action, and welcome to Special Forces of Liberty, where our motto is to move with speed, surprise, and a show of overwhelming force. We hope that you get involved in the way that you see fit.